Join the charge. Like and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Follow us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. Heck, we're even on TikTok. There's something for everyone here. We're excited to engage with you. We hope you'll join us moving forward.
Oh, Andrew, I think we've got you muted there. I'll give you a second to come back. I'm sure he's doing his normal good morning, everyone. It's nice to see you. Happy Wednesday. Here we go. I think we've got Andrew now.
Yes, good morning. Thank you, Austin. For some reason, this decides to mute me every once in a while. Maybe it knows better.
It's learning. It's like, hey, we should totally just not let this guy talk.
The algorithm is working. It's like, Andrew's going to talk about controversial stuff. No, not today. We're not.
We're going to be well behaved.
But this is controversial because it's so exciting. I'm just going to lead with this high gold mining. I've talked about them before. If you've read any of my stuff in the past, if this is the Johnson Tract project up in Alaska, and high gold mining, great crew up there doing some work. They intersected. It's shocking. Intersects 578 grams per ton gold and 2,203 grams per ton silver over 6.4 meters. Now that we won't go into too much detail about this, but let's just say the stock is up like 76% right now. Yeah. That is shocking numbers. So once again, more developing that story. We like the project specifically for that reason. We don't like the project, not the project, but because it's in Alaska, very tough as far as regulations, and not necessarily because of all of the tribes up there and all the different groups. A lot of them are on the board. They're all for it. It's some federal, issues and whatnot. It's complicated. Let's just say that. It's very complicated.
Yeah, I think from my understanding as well, Alaska has a lot of similar issues to what you would have in Alberta and BC when you are looking at provincial or federal parks. A lot of Alaska is considered under similar jurisdiction like that. So it makes it tricky to do anything up there. It becomes challenging.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's such an outdoorsy place. I mean, it really is. I mean, it's beautiful. And of course, a lot of people like to live off the land. I get it. Like, I'm not taking a stand either way. You do run a risk putting any industry anywhere to water source, environmental concerns. So it's not unfair to be cautious about it, but it is something to be very cognizant. Some places are easier than others, but certainly that is not a place that's easy as far as regulators go. There certainly is a lot to be found, and there's lots of potential findings up there. But will you get it out of the ground? But in any event, those are shockingly high numbers. Like those,
crazy good.
You almost don't even want to see it, because when you see someone who's got like a 3 grams per ton and they're over 30 meters, are like, oh, that's not 500. Like that's so big that I don't even know how to put that into context. But good for them. That's a big news. The stock is obviously through the roof. Yeah. And I'll just throw in there, because we're talking about gold as well. Poland is I think they've acknowledged they've bought 100 tons of gold. And this goes on to a theme that I talked about a couple of years ago, and for the last couple of years, of certain countries reclaiming and buying a lot of gold. Russia was one of the top one for about 5 years. China has been the number one purchaser of gold for years. They're one of the number one producers of gold as well. So when you're into financial crisis and concerns, yes, we've got crypto, and we think there's a place for that. But when people go, oh, gold is old, it's no one really pays attention. No, anybody who actually matters, like the actual central banks who've been piling on gold, all these countries, they recognize exactly the intention, the need for gold. So, whenever someone tries to tell you that there's an argument between these two factions of gold has no value and it's got to be crypto, that's not true. There's a place for both. And, it is even the old and the new, is that it's always going to have a value. Commodities will always have a value, intrinsically, culturally, however you want to look at it. But it's good right now because we're in a bit of chaos to be talking about gold because, things are quite uncertain out there.
Yeah, it is. And, I'll kind of harken back to something. We had Russell Starr, the CEO of Trillium Gold, on 3 months ago or something like that now. And he made the argument that gold and Bitcoin or cryptocurrency in general should be considered complementary assets and not competing against each other. And with all this great gold news that's been coming out lately, something I'll just highlight for anyone who doesn't keep their finger kind of on the pulse of the crypto sector. Bitcoin up almost 10% today, 30% in the last week. Ethereum up 5% today, 25% in the last week. Trending in the right direction. That trickles down throughout kind of the entire crypto market. There's very few that are in the red right now. Almost everything is green. So perhaps you're starting to see that shift of people really understanding these are complementary assets.
Yeah. And I'll just want to take a quick jump back because I wanted to get this out too, and it's Hawkmoon. We had Hawkmoon on Friday. Was it Friday? Yes, it was Friday.
Yes, yeah.
So they actually had their assay results out yesterday, and they had 4 meters of 17.31 grams per ton on their Wilson property. Those are great results, especially for that area. That's really wonderful results. The stock was creeping up, doing very well. As soon as news came out, it dropped a bit. You know what? Sometimes that happens. It's that saying, you buy the anticipation, you sell the news kind of thing. So, but in any event, that's real news. That's real data. That's a real assay results. So definitely a company to pay attention to because those results in that region, that means something regardless of where the stock is at. That's a good result for them. Way to go. I think more are coming soon as well. So just want to kind of throw that out there.
No, I'm glad you mentioned that because they're really great results that they've gotten from their first round of drilling. And the thing to kind of make the point, someone might look at this and say, oh, the stock's hovering around 9-10 cents. It's like, yeah, but this is still a very new company. They're just starting their drilling project. I think there's really exciting things ahead for them.
Yeah, and I'll just throw in too, because it was a challenge. This was the first company for them to get going together as a group. There was early round stock at very low levels. And I know people have commented on that in the past. So there would be people that, when they see it start rising up, I think it went up as high as 13, 14, 15 cents.
Yeah.
They would have, 2 cent shares saying, listen, I'm going to take some money off the table. I've had a good win here. And once again, no harm to them. So, and not a lot of people are following the story. I think more will now. They certainly will, because you start getting some results like this, you garner attention from everyone. And we'll leave it at that. But anyways, it's a good result. We're happy for them. And congratulations.
Yeah, absolutely. And then I know there was an article that you sent my way this morning about a little bit of a feud maybe brewing between some U.S. senators and the mining industry in the States that I know you wanted to highlight.
Yes. So this is actually interesting too. So there's a bunch of senators who have blasted the government and especially this new U.S. mining royalty plan. And they're taking the angle that it's anti-green and it's pro-China. I'll leave both of those alone. But what's interesting is that it's getting enough attention and in the government to acknowledge that they know that all of these metals are critical. And even Rich Nolan, who's the head of the National Mining Association, told Reuters, the race for electric vehicles and electrification of the economy requires metals and mining. And that needs to be incentivized, not stalled. So what they're worried about, or what the concern is these royalties on some of these lands, they're asking for 8% gross royalty on existing mines, on all existing mines, and 4% on new ones. Also, a 7-cent fee for every ton of rock moved. So this is a big tax that they're going to put on miners. And I'll have no comment either way, but part of me would think, they're spending money like it's going out of style, is that they're just going to heavily tax the solution. And I think it's a bit early to do that. I think you should let miners get up and going, make some profits, have some success, find some new mines, get them up and running before you start heavily taxing them. But hey, listen, I'm not in government. So.
Well, I mean, just my take on that from a pure economic standpoint is that makes it more difficult to have smaller, newer companies on the scene because they're going to have a difficult time with higher levels of taxation and regulation being put on them. That's just basic kind of economic principle. Is it a thing where maybe the small business kind of suffers in the long run with something like this while the big, monopolies can kind of sink in? Maybe. That's just my kind of opinion, but interesting nonetheless.
Yeah, and to me, it doesn't make any sense. You want to incentivize all of the mining so that you can implement this, the good parts of ESG. You can implement good regulations without overtaxing to make sure that there's enough funding and enough profit that is being also encouraged to do things properly, safely, and within regulations, rather than just go, we're just going to tax you. Right off the bat, we're going to tax you. We're going to tax you higher. So we'll leave it at that. But it's at least on the positive side that this conversation is happening at a very high level, and that there's an acknowledgement that all of these are critical for this electric future, which is what we've been saying for years. And it's good because the more it comes out and the more that people accept it and have a say in it, the better.
Yeah, no, you're absolutely right there. It's important to have these discussions happening, and in the highest branches of decision making in the U.S. government, that's a good place to start.
Absolutely. I think the last thing we want to just because we want to keep it a bit short today, is just jump on this Merck announcement. Now, it's a couple days ago, but they've come out with their antiviral treatment, their COVID pill. And now, of course, they're still waiting on more data. So there's still, but it's from they were on CNBC. They had some people talk about it. Whether you like WHO or CDC or whoever else you tend to like or not like, they are all kind of saying this is a huge step forward. It's like, at the very least, being conservative, very good news. If there's a treatment for COVID, this is huge, because not only does the world get back to go back to normal, flights, no masks, no nothing, everything should be fine. So this is huge if they can have the result and they have a pill, because that gets some of the anxiety of people saying, hey, I don't want a shot, I don't like needles, I don't know what's in it. A pill, people are a little bit more inclined to go, hey, it's just treatment. I take antibiotics, I take this, and if this is the same type of thing, all right, no worries.
Well,
so,
and I mean, let's even make the point in along with that, for anyone who has been, and we've seen cases throughout the world in multiple countries, US, Canada, Israel, the United Kingdom, where even if you're fully vaccinated, you can still catch COVID. Having an extra treatment on hand to help with that is just going to make it easier, like you're saying, to reopen everything up, to really actually get back to a sense of normalcy. So that's really cool and really encouraging.
Yeah, and and having the treatment, I mean, that is critical, because like you said, the vaccine doesn't stop you from getting sick or from transmitting it. It seems to maybe help you from getting sicker, but certainly we know in the hospitals right now, more than 50% of the people in there have had 2 shots. So if this can help, excellent, get things back on track, and we can start looking at healthcare a bit more holistically, like we've kind of been chatting about before. And that can hope to alleviate some of the issues that are happening right now. So we'll cross our fingers. That's good news, at least. It is, especially in a time that's a bit challenging right now. This month has started off a bit hard. That's an optimistic kind of highlight for the day.
It is, for sure. And the last kind of point I'll make on it is, although that is really encouraging, Big Pharma is going to Big Pharma, because it's already coming out that they're going to sell that pill at 40 times the cost of what it takes to make it. So they're going to get their money out of it no matter what. But like you said, really, really encouraging a potential very clear path forward for an exit from this situation.
Yes, and also I will also acknowledge that, I mean, that's the what do you call it, the cloud that always comes with pharma. The second part is that it looks like it's essentially a clone of something that we're all very well known about. It's essentially a clone of ivermectin. So interesting, as the news in the world develops. Here's where we're at. So have a great day, guys. Austin, thanks so much, and let's see how the rest of this week plays out.
Yeah, thanks, Andrew. We'll look forward to chatting to everyone on Friday. Cheers, guys.